Hey there, welcome. Welcome to Rise and Receive on our new time and our new day. We're doing them now Tuesdays and Fridays. This is your opportunity to stop whatever you're doing and take a moment to explore how to receive your fulfillment by unlearning struggle. So today I'm going to talk about the easiest way to get unstuck. So if you're feeling stuck about something, or if it's something that in the past that you've struggled with, I think you're going to like what we're going to unpack today. So if you don't know me, my name is Sonia Miller. I'm a speaker, coach, and best-selling author, and I help hardworking, goal-oriented people to see the blind spots that keep them from receiving their long overdue rewards. And the way that I do this is I teach the very tangible and results-producing skill set known as receiving. Because hardworking, goal-oriented people, in my 25 plus years of coaching, I have seen, I've observed, I've determined, hardworking, goal-oriented people know how to hunt, seek, pursue, and work really hard. But the less familiar skill set is, how do you stop that? When do you stop that to actually receive what you've been working so hard for? So I illuminate blind spots that help you tap into receiving. And most hardworking people don't know how to receive. So what is a blind spot? In my world, I defined a blind spot as when your current point of view hides an essential insight, just like when you're driving the car. If you have a blind spot, there's something that you need to see that you can't see. And a receiving blind spot, something that prevents you from seeing what you need to see in order to receive your fulfillment, occurs when you're operating more as a human doing, i.e. hard work ethic, versus a human being. Because being is actually incredibly powerful. It produces results. But if you don't know how that's possible, if all you've ever learned is how to work hard and you think that you need to work hard in order to receive, then you get more hard work. And it doesn't have to be hard. I always like to say that some struggle is natural to life, but much of it is learned. And so receiving is actually a process of unlearning what you've learned and come to rely upon. All right. So with that, the blind spot that I'm going to illuminate today, which will shed light on the easiest way to get unstuck, is what I call the resistance blind spot. Okay, so what is the resistance blind spot? Resistance is basically anything that you don't want, that you battle, that you push against, that you oppose. All right. So sometimes we fight against it, or sometimes we protect ourselves from it, or we avoid it. And there's a saying that, if you haven't heard, goes like this: what you resist persists. But what a lot of people don't know is what comes after that. So what you resist persists, which means if you fight against it, if you protect yourself from it, if you avoid something, then it will persist. It will continue to not only exist, but it actually grows in energy. It takes up more and more space. What you resist persists. What you receive can transform. So when it comes to stuckness, what tends to happen is that you are struggling against something and you are resisting the fact that you're struggling. So when you resist the fact that you're struggling, you're going to struggle more. When you resist the fact that you're stuck, you're going to feel more stuck. But when you learn how to stop fighting the struggle, stop resisting the struggle, and receive it instead, then that's the fastest way to get unstuck. It can actually move on through, because that's what all of life wants to do. Everything that shows up in your life wants to be received and move on through. That's what life does. That's what energy does. It's everywhere. It's in science. It's in nature. It's in relationships. It's in your body. It's everywhere. So energy wants to move, and everything is energy. It can be energy that's invisible, or it can be the energy that takes form as your goals and dreams in your life. So how do you actually stop resisting struggle, stop resisting the stuckness, and receive it instead? Well, I teach a 3-step receive method, which is incredibly simple yet incredibly profound. And it's so simple that the mind, which is where struggle begins, will say it can't be this easy. But for every student, and I certainly am an example of this in my own life, for every student who practices the 3-step receive method, this is where those long overdue rewards start to just happen. I just was speaking to a client today, just this morning, and this is the thing I always hear from clients who practice receiving. When they really start to understand how to receive and they just practice it all day long as a way of being, I hear this all the time. Sonia, this thing showed up and I didn't have to do anything. I have a client this morning who was so stuck around money, and it was just like this battle, and she just was really struggling around it. And when she started practicing receiving, she had it was so exciting to just hear like, oh my gosh, the money came from over here and the money came from over here. And then I manifested this car. She opened the flow gates. It's absolutely a learnable skill. So what is the 3-step receive method? It's ALI. Awareness, let it be here, and invite more or better. So if you want to open the flow gates, if you want to get unstuck easily, the first thing is awareness. Become aware that you are feeling stuck. Instead of just being lost in the stuckness, you can stop and notice and say, I'm stuck, I'm struggling, I'm aware of this. You simply become aware of your experience. As soon as you notice it, you've now reclaimed your power from the situation. Then L is let the struggle be here. Instead of trying to fix it, change it, control it, make it go away, which is resisting it, you take a breath. I let the struggle be here. And you just give it space. And it lets the struggle land. Because until you let it land, which is receiving, okay, you're either battling it or fighting against it, right? So you let it land. And then you invite more or better. So how do you invite more or better? Okay. It can be through a statement of willingness, or you just ask a question. You can say, how does it get even better than this? Or, as I love to share with the Receive Oracle cards, your invitation is this. So this whole message today is inspired from this card. If I can get it there it is. Soothe your struggle. So once you're aware of the struggle and you let it be here, you can start to invite the movement so it can move on through. And this is the mantra. I am willing to receive new possibilities as I allow my struggle to rest. I am willing to allow new possibilities as I allow my struggle to rest. So if you feel stuck, if you're struggling, notice, breathe, let it be here, and then start saying this mantra, because here's what's happening. You create your reality through your consciousness. When you're stuck and struggling and you keep bemoaning the fact that you're stuck and struggling and stuck and struggling, your consciousness is focused on stuck and struggle. But when you practice a new mantra, a new way of directing your attention, I am willing to receive new possibilities as I allow my struggle to rest, you are now creating an entirely different reality. Your consciousness, your point of view, the blind spot has completely shifted. And this is where the flow starts to open up. All right. So I hope this is helpful. If it was, please please share. It helps me reach the people that I'm here to serve. If you're on YouTube, please click on the subscribe button. I'll let you know every time I release a new video. And if you'd like to get your own Receive Oracle cards that are now on Amazon, that have lots of receiving wisdom. I've been having so much fun getting messages and photos from people who said, Sonia, I was struggling with this and I pulled this card. I want to buy a house and I pulled the card on receive money. Oh my gosh. Or my thoughts were going crazy and I pulled the card on soothe your need to know. And that shifted. It's really one of the easiest ways to just get the flow gates opening in your life. Just pull a card each morning and things shift. So if you'd like your own, go to receivecarddeck.com. That will take you to Amazon and you can buy your own Receive Card Deck and start receiving with greater ease by unlearning struggle. Have a great rest of your day and I'll see you at the next Rise and Receive. Bye everybody.